meeting of the town board of the town of Queens. If you'll join me for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. The record show that all the board members are here tonight. No exceptions. And we have a few announcements. One is the Alcove Day is the 26th of this month. It's community garage sales in Alcove starting at 8 a.m. You can visit the Queens Hollow Firehouse to purchase a treasure map and have coffee and breakfast sandwiches will be there also. Village of Ravena Community Cleanup Day has been moved from Saturday to Sunday, the 27th of April. And it's starting at 1 p.m., not 9 a.m. Queens Hollow Fire Annual Pre-Mother's Day Buffet Breakfast. That is May 4th, 8 a.m. to noon. Pricing as follows. Adults $12, seniors $10, children ages 5 to 12 are $5, and children under 5 eat free. Also, Feed Your Neighbor Walk for Hunger. Is that at Mosier Park?
Yes.
Okay, I thought that was going to be Drum. That's at Mosier Park on the 4th of May. And please consider joining the RCS Association of Churches as they gather to walk for a worthy cause. Also, we had a suicide on April 9th, and I just want to know everyone to know that every life in our town matters deeply to us. So check on each other from time to time, and asking for help is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. And if you're feeling overwhelmed, you know someone who is, there are places to contact. There's a 988 number, which is an emergency number that you can call if you're feeling unstable. If before it hits crisis, you can call Albany County Mental Health. That's 518-447-4555. There's a crisis text line. Text hello to 741741, or you can call the New York State Emotional Support Helpline at 1-844-863-9314. Have somebody help you if you're feeling in crisis. Okay, everyone received the minutes. And had a chance to review them. I'd like to make a motion to accept them for the record.
I'll second the approval of the April 10th, 2025 town board meeting minutes.
Thanks, Mike. All in favor?
Aye.
I'll abstain, I wasn't here.
Okay, thanks.
I did
Ron's
read them,
abstaining.
but I'll abstain.
All right, that brings us right to our reports. Supervisor report for March of 2025. General A Fund, balance forward $538,786.23. Receipts of $35,503.24. Disbursements of $394,131.97. Balance of $180,157.50. Earned interest for the month $14,163.80. Consolidated fund balance forward $651.97. Receipts of 3 cents. No disbursements. A balance of $652. Part Town B balance forward $55,013.62. Receipts of $1,823.08. Disbursements of $25,308.98. Balance of $31,527.72 with earned interest of $5,837.11. Part Town DB balance forward $168,518.06. Receipts of $115.15. Disbursements of $77,555.42. Balance of $91,077.79. Earned interest of $739.17. DA fund balance forwards $2,987.24. Receipts of 10 cents. Disbursements of $1,035.85. Balance forward of $1,951.49. Earned interest $3.41. Sewer SS fund is balance forward of $173,375.61. Receipts of $68,439.08. Disbursements of $61,754.60. The balance of $180,060.09. Earned interest of $732.69. Trust and agency balance forward $18,097.81. Receipts of $226,307.87. Disbursements of $226,643.87. Balance of $17,761.81. Police forfeitures should be removed at some point. I'll get rid of those. There's nothing in there. Capital Project H, balance forward $4,360.86. Receipts of 4 cents. No disbursements. Balance of $4,360.90. $112.03 of earned interest. Section 8 HUD, balance forward $7,824.24. I'm sorry, $7,825.24. Receipts of $67,660.48. Disbursements of $67,458.03. Balance of $8,027.69. Total reconciled balance is $515,576.99. Total earned interest $21,588.21. Cemetery savings account. Grove Cemetery is at $928.62. Earned interest of $109.12. Quemas Hollow Cemetery $546.80. Earned interest of $10.87. Alcove Cemetery $320.97. Earned interest of $50.93. Total savings account $1,796.39. Total interest for the savings account $170.92. Bank of Greene County, National Bank of Coxsackie are both FDIC coverage at $250,000 and collateralized at $998,562.37. Night class report for the month. No withdrawals, no deposits. And like I said, the earned interest for the month was $21,588.21.
Was that less than previous months?
That's right on. It's usually 20,000 or more a month, depending on the rates. We're typically making $708 every single day with night class. And I think it's still at 4.2%. I make a motion to accept the supervisor's report.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Accepted. Candace, you want to take it away?
Town clerk's report for March of 2025. Within the A fund, we handed over to the supervisor, which includes water rents, a total of $77,937.65. In the B fund, we handed over a total of $2,900 for property tax, which is done, thankfully. It's a total of interest and penalties of $6,208.52. In the sewer fund, we had a total of $52,719.03 for a total local shares remitted of $139,765.20. Albany County Director of Finance is receiving a check for $322,134.30. New York State Ag and Markets will receive $22. New York State Department of Health receives $90. New York State Environmental Conservation receives $953.28 for a total non-local revenue of $323,199.58 and a total state, county, and local of $462,964.78.
Make a motion to accept the March 2025 town clerk's report as submitted.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Chief, Karen?
Good evening, thanks. So the Queenstown Police Department for the month of March 2025 answered 586 calls for service. Resultant was 11 arrests were effected. We had 133 traffic stops, issued 87 traffic tickets. There were no DWIs or personal injury auto accidents. There were 3 other property damage auto accidents we investigated. Detective Luke Ross has started sworn in. It's already been a great asset to the department. Great addition. And that's about it.
Thanks. Make a motion to accept the chief's report.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Jason?
Good evening, everyone. Building Department report for March 2025. Permits issued were 13. Certificates of occupancy or compliance were 7. 5 operating permits were issued. We had 2 stop work orders in the month of March. 2 notices of violations were sent out. Fire inspections, multi-dwellings, we had 1. Fire inspections commercially, 9. Fire inspections on 1 vacant building. Building complaints, we had 9. Building inspections were 39. One permit renewal. Building fees for the month were $1,675. We had 1 special use permit, 1 minor subdivision, 1 site plan review. Planning fees were $550. We had 1 lot line adjustment. Zoning fees were $150. We had 2 property searches, and miscellaneous fees were $200.
Make a motion to accept the department's report.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hey, Keith. Haven't seen you in a while.
You know, how's everyone? Good. So here's the report for March of 2025. We had 23 million gallons come through the plant. Average monthly flow was 744,000 gallons. We removed almost 53 tons of solids to landfill at 15.72%. Removal rate for our labs was 88 and 91. We had a little over an inch, 2.5 inches of rain for the month of March. And our bills added up to $48,212.87. So just to let you know, we're out at leachate now. So we're processing that, where we take what leaches out of the dump is collected, and then we hold it, test it, and then send it up, and then eventually we'll dump it out into a dry creek bed up there. But just want to let you know that process is up and running and everything like that. Just so you know, also know that just in the last month or so, we've been working on with Labarge and them about the grant money and stuff like that, and getting the proposal out there for the bid work for the lift station. We got that all situated and everything like that. We're just buttoning down a couple more things, and I think it'll be ready to go. So basically, I just want to touch base about that.
Have you got the pumps yet?
That's what we're doing right now. We're putting it out to bid. We just put a plan together, and now we'll put it out to bid. You know, hopefully get a few companies that will bid in, and we'll go from there. Maybe by the end of next month or something like that.
Good.
If it goes.
Hey Keith, can you just kind of fill me in, possibly the board, about the leachate? Like, is that something that you do during the day? Is that
Yes.
something? Okay.
So what happens is like well, through the winter time we can't run it because of freezing. So what happens is that's like a big bag or something like that, and they covered it and everything. And anything that may leach out of it, they have a collection system around the bottom of it that collects anything that leaks out of there. You know, any runoff of any kind of water collects, and then we have like a wet well, dry, that when that's full or when we're in the process, we pump it up and fill the lower lagoon. and that's aerated. So that's aerated, and then when that gets full, then we do an ammonia test on it, and then when the ammonia test meets our parameters that we can have, then we run it. Then we add aluminum sulfate and hydrogen sulfate, and then we use promagnamate, and just to get all the metals and stuff like that to settle in the bottom, and that lays in the bottom, and then when that we shut the air off, and that all mixes and settles, and then as long as we meet all our parameters, and we run that through the press, and then inside there's a gravity thickener they call it, and it's just mainly the same process. You pump it in, any metals, anything heavy settles to the bottom of a little holding tank, and then it cascades over like an old waterfall into another section. It does the same thing. Then it falls down into a wet well. Then we pick it up there, and it goes through a multimedia filter, which is sand and different layers. Top is sand and stone, and all the way to the bottom. And so then it goes through 2 of those, through a carbon filter, and then goes out into a holding tank outside that has floats in it, and then we pump it up all the way up to the other lagoon by the salt building, and then we hold it there. And then then we usually do 2 tanks at the lower end to fill the upper one. We test that, and then DEC says, okay, you can dump that, and then we dump it into a dry creek bed there. So we do that like 3-4 times a year because it takes so long, and then this time of year it fills pretty fast, but when it gets drier out, there's less coming through the dome and stuff like that. So when we have rainy seasons, we have more and stuff like that. But it just takes some time. It's just process. Going out there, you got to go out and check it because the pit is only 3 foot by 3 foot, 3 foot by 4 foot deep, and they don't want it overfilling and running out on the ground. That's not the process there. So we got to keep it. So when we're running that process, then I'm up there every day, twice a day. I go up in the morning, check it, leave it, be back up at night just before the end of the night, make sure everything's running right, and then leave and then check it the next morning. So it's just a process of going back and forth all day long up there.
Okay. And all that work is covered like under your current regular day schedule?
Yes.
Like you're not doing that after hours?
Nope. That's why with the village, on our timesheet, it has a collection system, leach aid, and stuff like that on it. Because anytime I leave the gate, I have to write all that stuff down. Because they don't want to pay for any time outside the gate, because that's not their responsibility.
Right.
The responsibility is inside the gate. So anything out the lift stations and out the leach aid, I keep track of those for me and the guys when they go out there to keep it separate from our regular time. So yeah, it's just throughout and then during the winter time, it's just to check, make sure that we have heat out there, nothing's frozen. Anyway, I call Nolan every time I need propane and stuff like that.
You ready to fix that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. That's how that process works up there. It's same as down here, just a little different,
Yeah.
But that'll be forever.
Right.
I was told when I first came that we may be able to stop doing it, but when I talked to DEC, they said, no, that'd be forever. Because it's got contaminants in it, from whatever they did. That was closed in 94. I think they closed and capped it in 95, somewhere around there. The dump was open until then.
Has Ty been going out there?
What?
Has Ty been going out there?
They do it now and then when I'm not, if they have to run out there. But me, I try to do most of that.
Yeah, I passed him the other.
Yeah.
I was wondering if he was heading out.
No, he did because we had True Green came and sprayed, so he had to go out and lock the gates and stuff, check, make sure everything's locked back up.
So that's a morning activity?
Yes. Yeah, because they called and I had went to the dentist, but I had unlocked the gates earlier in the morning, and I said just go back up later and check them. And the guy came and I was leaving at 8 o'clock. He was out there.
Yeah, that's about like 7:30.
And he said he'd be there.
So you're out there early. That's the
Yeah.
Okay.
Try to go out there before just when those guys get there, I run out, check that, then I wait come back and we get things done around the plant.
Thank you.
Make a motion to accept the sewer report for March.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Evening, Dan.
Good evening, everyone. Highway Department report for the month of March 2025. Mother Nature reaches down on us and grabbed a hold of us in March. We had 8 events in January and February, and we thought we were done, but we had a tremendous snow squall in March. So on a Saturday, we had to bring in a few people. On March 8th, we had like a 4-inch snow squall out on the hill. So the winter, Mother Nature reminded us that she was not done yet. And we had one in April too. So we got some guys in, they cleaned the hills, and then in the afternoon, everything. Town halls, very quiet, nothing going on during March at either town halls. Moving on to the garage, we serviced the police car for Sergeant Arnold. We put new brakes and gave it an oil change. C-22 had a leaky oil line, so that was also taken care of. Moving on to the roads, we were up on Kinley Road. We had to do some repairs up there from snow plowing. So we made the repairs with pressure run stone, and then there was some stone that was pushed into the grass area, so we had to rake all that out, so that was taken care of. Then we went and cleaned out a bunch of ditches on Blossom Hill Road, Aqueduct Road, Beachman, Appleby Lane. We put down crusher run to fill in some of the potholes as well. That's a dirt road if you guys are out that way, on top of Cope. Continued working on our wing damage from the winter snowplow season on Old Indian Fields Road, Zabel Hill, and Miller Road. And then we went to Bucks Ranch Road, which the road is in very bad shape. So we put down 100 tons of millings on that and rolled it. It's going to need attention in the next few years. The road is, it's almost like a dirt road. So we're going to try to do something with it, with some shared services from the town of Bethlehem this year if we can. But we are putting our best foot forward to try to, it's very, very bad. And in the wintertime, it's even worse. So it's not a good road to plow. So we'll keep working on that. The speed limit signs and the road signs and the stop signs, I don't know, people love them in the town of Queens. They run over them, they steal them. I mean, it's you guys see how many, we buy signs all the time. So one on Whitbeck got ran over. So we found that, we put that back up. The shoulder was deteriorating on Beers Road, about halfway going towards Copeland. So we put shoulder material down on both sides of the road. And then we went to Pratt Lane, which is off of Carr Road out by the reservoir. It's another dirt road. And again, I believe everybody deserves the same amount of service. Even if you live on a dirt road, you should have a nice, safe road to drive on. So we put a bunch of crusher run down for them and rolled that, and that came out very good. A couple things I didn't put down on my sheet was brush chipping has started. And everybody's pretty good about it, mostly on Mondays. But if we get a lot, people are busy this time of year, we will go out. We went out today and did some, so. But we like to try to do it on every Monday, okay? Moving on to the parks. We cleaned up and we got the bathrooms up and running. Good news, bad news. The good news is the first water test at Malman was submitted and it was passed. No bacteria, no E. coli. So that's good. Now I'll get I'll sample every month, and then I'll do a nitrate sample and a full spectrum sample. It'll be a more expensive sample than the $45 one, but that's something that the county requires. So all good there. We started mowing, all good there. The not so good news is the second time now, the landing bathroom got vandalized. I sent you guys pictures. I sent it to the chief and Sergeant Arnold, and I think they had some positive IDs. He's got some information on that. They kicked the toilet paper holders off the wall. One got broken. We put the other one back. Jason Farr went in. It looks like the toilet papers were in the corner, and then they were urinated on or something. So he cleaned it, serviced it. So it's back up and running. But I only have toilet paper on the one side because I went all over trying to find toilet paper holders, and Candace helped me and she ordered it. Stephen Fazio, I think, ordered 2 of them. So when they come in, we'll get those put back on. Okay, so.
But the cameras are up and running.
Yeah, yep.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so, we put cameras in both parks and we got them all. So we know who it is. We'll be messing them.
Great.
They're juveniles, but will be petitioned to probation. The parents can pay the damage.
Okay, I know this sounds counterintuitive, but that's actually, can I get all the pictures and the police reports? Because we're in the process of trying to reach out to BOCES to get a grant for a pavilion and a new gazebo. And these actually help us to get a grant because we can see that one of the factors is safety. So, you know, if you put money into the park, it will attract.
This for the landing?
Yeah, for Queeman's Landing. So there's two coming up. One is, the deadline is May 2nd. And I've been down there taking pictures and making sure, trying to get evidence like this. That's why I reached out to Stephanie to get that huge list of going years back.
Yeah,
So,
it's hard to winnow down to that particular address, but she's got a list that she's working on it.
yeah, anything sort of in the landing, even in the hamlet, even going up 144, anything like that. As a matter of fact, I'll probably save this for old business, but we do need a bunch more information. I'll probably collect this weekend and then beginning of next week, but that stuff will help.
So I forwarded all the pictures to you guys. I'm not sure, is that your number?
Yeah, thanks. The supervisor's phone. Yeah,
I wasn't sure, but yeah.
Yep, that's the one.
All right, so, again, we got it cleaned up, it's back up and running. The door locks, the bathrooms are open from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. I don't want to shorten them, you know, I don't want to lock them any sooner. They're playing soccer down there, it's daylight until 8:30, so, that's what time the doors, they lock, you know, at night. The outside lights are on, yada, 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 so.
No, hopefully,
Yeah.
some follow-up with the chief with what happens, you know, today or whatever, you know, word of mouth gets around that maybe, you know, cameras around the building, maybe less people will be more apt to go in and do it, so.
Yeah, we check them every day and we'll keep an eye on them. And then cemeteries, we had one burial at Alcove during March. And then we took the decision to regrade all the roads because during the springtime, when we have to do burials, some of the roads were a little haphazard. So we put pressure on down all the cemetery roads so that when you got to get in there and stuff, now you're not walking in mud and stuff. So the guys did a nice job with that. Okay.
Dan, you had mentioned maybe the last meeting, 2 meetings ago, the furnace in this building went down. You got bids and you sent us those. Are we all set now?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, so we secured the 3 quotes from Long Energy, Nolan Energy, and C&M Mechanical. C&M Mechanical was the cheapest bid, and they replaced the natural gas furnace. It's a hot air unit, and the reason why I put the AC on it is because when you take out the furnace, the air conditioner coil is right there. So it just makes sense, because during the summer, if we had a problem, you'd have to remove the furnace, and so it was an additional, I don't know, $4 or $5 grand, but the whole unit's been replaced. There's a new condenser outside, and it's up and running, and it's one of those necessary evils, right? I mean, we don't really want to spend the money if we don't have to, but when we get to selling the building, it just makes the building worth that much more, because both of these units have been replaced now, and so you got good heat and AC. Okay. All right, anything else? Good? All right, thank you.
Thanks, Dan. Make a motion to accept the Queens Highway Department report from March 2025.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any new business anybody wants to? Let's see if I get this. Okay, so just to go into the old business, since we were just talking about the grant. So the person I'm working with both from BOCES, we have got most of the stuff that she needs. We were able to use the seeker report from the 2022 WIIA sewer rain down at Queeman's Landing grant. So that was the crucial thing, but I kind of want to put this out there if anybody can help us with this. I have to go back down and take some more photos, but letters from any business owners that are not investing due to the condition of the park. I have a couple that I'm reaching out to that had sent me emails way back at the beginning of my term. But if any other people know of anybody that they'd like to reach out to contact the supervisor's office, or people selling homes due to the condition of the hamlet. We were already reaching out for letters of support. What was the other one? Oh, groups. Linda, I wanted to ask you about that. Programs in the park, you mentioned the soccer and the basketball, and any other programs that they have that anybody knows, if they could reach out and say that, yes, we use this park and yes, it needs to be upgraded, would help immensely to secure this grant and hopefully the next one that is next month.
Could we, maybe Candace, could we use the issue that we have, our riverfront concerts there? And would you say maybe it would help with, getting more attendance for riverfront concerts if we had, maybe a pavilion or an updated gazebo? Is that something that would maybe fit that criteria?
Yeah, I asked her about that because it's the reason because the gazebo is so small.
Sure.
And there are larger ones, and we were actually reaching out to other municipalities who have upgrades because we have to get estimates of how much it would cost. We actually called Cold Springs today because they have a very large gazebo that we found online that's beautiful, and they said, well, our residents got together and built that a few years back, so they don't have any numbers because we have to have documentation of the prices. So
You have basketball hoops down there?
at the landing, yeah.
Yeah, but the kids use that.
Yeah, when I was down there were a bunch of families. I'm not sure if it was coordinated, but I know the soccer looked like it was. So if
Yeah.
anybody knows anybody that wants to reach out and give us letters of support for that, we could use them. And the general demographics I already have, and any news articles or even the agenda minutes, if you can remember from years back, somebody talked about the Queen's Landing, that it needed to be upgraded, that it needed something. We can use that by the beginning of next week because we want to get it nailed down before next Thursday.
Keeping the kayak,
Yeah.
they got the rentals there, so.
Yeah, and we were looking at actually expanding that. It's only, I know it sounds strange to say only $1 million, but $1 million doesn't really go too far. If you look at Coxsackie, they had 4.2, and I think they used a lot of it for concrete sidewalks because when you look at Google Earth, they have the pavilion that's about the size that we want, but there was a lot to do with their landing, and I did, Keith, want to have the kayaks more accessible for people because I talked to people who were pulling boats out of the boat launch, and I asked them, you ever see people kayaking? And they said, yeah, they can launch from anywhere, but we need these to launch boats. If you take one of these bays away, it's not going to be good. So yeah, kayaks would be great to get people to do that even more. And that's it. I just wanted to kind of reach out in this forum. So if anybody sees this, they can help us. It's a lot of information. And that's old business. Okay. So
I just have a couple of things for old business.
Sure.
Rich, your office sent around a revised resolution for the 2518, 2524 Route 9W project because we added that additional language.
Yes.
Do we have to present that amended resolution?
I don't think so. I mean, we really, you amended it in the meeting,
Right, yeah.
adopted it as amended, and I just wanted to circulate a clean copy.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that we didn't have to act on it.
No.
I mean, I know that we
Ann sent that to you too, yes.
amended it in real time, but I just wanted to make sure. And then the only other things that I wanted to bring up and just get a status on are the, Keith talked about the bidding documents for the pumps, so I don't think we have to go into detail about that. But where are we with the documentation and the bidding process for the new town hall?
So the point that we're at right now is Jim is pulling together bid documents to send out so that he can get bids for it. And if we didn't land, the last time we had a meeting, Candace and Jason were supposed to get together and come up with reasons, but Jason sort of said it was up to the board, so it's sort of an easy decision, I would imagine, to we wanna make a motion to just move that along.
I mean, I don't think that matters too much in the sense of
For
what
Jim,
Jim
no,
needs to
yeah,
prepare.
but he will need to know where outlets are going, where placement of furniture is gonna be, so if we can move that forward, that's fine. Anybody wants?
So Jason's not, he doesn't wanna talk about it any further, he is just up whatever the board decides.
It's in the board's hands, so.
So is that something we wanna act on now? Is it something that we wanna talk about behind the scenes? I mean, again, time isn't necessarily of the essence for that placement at this point in time. Again, I'm in favor of Candace having that space where right now it's designated as the building department. But, you know, if the board wants to chat about it behind the scenes, I'm happy with that, or I can make a motion.
We can speed things along, you know, because I don't, if there, what's the resolution gonna be? It's gonna be the same if there's no, if the parties don't care, then we might as well just move forward and amend it to,
Is
We
that what
already
you
did
want?
that. The resolution passed.
No, I know, but we would specifically
No, yeah.
designate right now
I
that the town clerk would
I
be,
don't think we need to do that. I mean,
well, we're gonna have to at some point, we're going as the
well,
town
because
board.
Right,
the
I
part,
understand.
somebody's gonna have to go into that centerpiece and tell Jim, because that's gonna have the most partitions being taken down and the most partitions being put back up, so
I
he
get-
needs to know where outlets are going, where computer
Right, I
outlets.
think what I'm saying is we already gave Jim permission to go ahead with that. We already approved the building plans.
Sure.
And placement is totally different as far as that's gonna be done internally, so. Right? I mean, Jim's not picking it. The people.
No, I know, but what Mr. Donnelly is saying and what the process is gonna have to have happen is Jim is going to have to go in
Right,
with
I
Jason.
understand
If we as a town
Right.
board designate Jason in that
Yeah, he
middle
needs a
area,
contact
I
person.
understand.
so I mean,
I mean, my opinion is, I say we just, take it back and make a date or a time and just say, let's have a firm decision by mid next week, so that we can, not only let the departments know, but also let Jim Clark know,
I thought that we already did that.
unless.
we did as far as the layout is concerned.
Okay.
We didn't designate who's gonna go
Okay.
where specifically
Okay,
with those
gotcha.
two.
Okay.
So,
I wasn't here at the last meeting, so I think I would just like the opportunity just to kind of rewatch that last meeting one time. And maybe just talk to a couple of the players again, just to get some, follow-up as to what happened.
Okay.
But I have no problem making a decision real quick, so.
and Rich, that doesn't have to be so formal as a resolution or anything. We can just say as the town board that this is where we're putting someone.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Correct, I
saying.
mean, I think you guys really, that wouldn't require a formal
No.
Right.
motion.
No.
It strikes me that you may, I think there was some discussion about that corner office in particular, that if there was a switch so that the clerk was there, that maybe one of those walls might not be there, right? So that visibility, so I mean, it might be helpful when you sort of resolve that and come down definitively, that you just ask LaBerge to generate sort of a clear diagram, which I think they'll probably need to do for the bids anyways. And at that point, you could just
So we have a
confirm.
workshop on Wednesday next week, we can make a decision then.
I mean, that's with that's the
Yeah,
joint.
village, but at least we can have a
Yeah.
quick discussion in the back real quick after the meeting or before the meeting, and then make our decision then,
Okay.
if you want.
Do we know when Jim is going to have the bidding documents ready, and when they're gonna be ready to go out for bid?
I'm going to call him tomorrow.
Okay.
Guess we can move on to resolution. Ron, you wanna take off on it?
The Councilmember Holtzine offer the following resolution to move its adoption. Be it resolved that the town board has approved the payment of bills as presented in the abstract for April 2025 as follows. Prepaid vouchers 25,000,358 to 25,000,418 and 25,000,420 to 25,000,426 from the following funds. General, $104,909.69. Park Town, $16,878.68. Highway, Park Town, DB, $35,129,000.42. Sewer, $18,276.44. Trust and agency, $53,651.23. Voucher numbers 250000427 to 250000438 and 250000440 to 250000497 from the following funds. I excluded voucher number 250000439 as discussed. General, 55,407.09. Parktown, 1,176.14. Highway DA, 4,446.08. Highway Parktown DB, 4,720.80. Sewer, $17,028.79. TA Fund, $1,534.50, making the total for all funds $313,158.86.
I'll second that.
Discussion, because we're gonna do this as amended, minus the 1,500 for voucher 250000439. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I, Councilmember Stott, offering the following resolution, moves adoption. Whereas the Town of Queens Police Department has received a notice of resignation from Officer Lance Palmetier, and whereas Officer Palmetier has performed an exemplary police officer serving the town since July of 2022 and has accepted a position with the Greene County Sheriff's Office. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Queens does hereby accept the resignation of Officer Lance Palmetier effective April 30th, 2025.
Second, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I, Supervisor Donnelly, offer the following resolution and move its adoption. Whereas the Town Board of the Town of Queens seeks to make certain improvements to its facilities at Queens Landing Park, and whereas the improvements include but are not limited to the addition of Americans with Disabilities Act accessible outdoor spaces, new lighting, and improved recreational access, and whereas such improvements to Queens Landing Park would advance regional, municipal, and community planning initiatives, including goals set forth in a local waterfront program that has been pursued by the town, and the town's formal comprehensive plan and updates thereto, and whereas the town board also believes the improvements would receive broad support from town residents, local businesses, and community organizations that utilize and benefit from Queens Landing Park, and whereas the New York State Office of Parks and Recreation and Historic Preservation recently announced a new grant program, the Municipal Parks and Recreation Grant Program, which grant program is intended to fund enhancements to municipal parks and recreation sites. And whereas the Town Board of the Town of Queens previously authorized the town supervisor to enter into a contract with Capital Region BOCES to provide grant writing services to the town, and whereas Capital Region BOCES proposed to prepare and submit a request for funding to the grant program to secure funding for the proposed improvements to Queens Landing Park, and now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Queens does hereby authorize Capital Region BOCES to prepare and submit the grant request to the New York State Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation's Municipal Parks and Recreation Grant Program for funding the improvements to Queens Landing Park, and authorizes the town supervisor to execute all necessary forms and documents in furtherance of this resolution.
I'll second it.
Discussion?
Do we have an idea of how many hours BOCES is gonna need to complete the grant application and kind of finalize the application?
Ken Ruffin has not given me an estimate yet, but she has been working on it for a while. I can ask her because we are in constant contact during this process.
You said she's been working on it for a while, so there's probably hours that she's already incurred.
Yeah, up to this point, yeah. I can ask her for an estimate if.
And we have, what's the total, 135? Was that the total that we got from BOCES?
Of hours?
Total hours, yeah.
Yeah.
135.
135. And that is, our year is up like in July, am I?
She actually, I asked her about that, and she said, sometimes they're a bit
They're
lenient
flexible.
about, yeah, exactly, they're flexible about it. So, and I can ask her, I actually have a meeting with Karen Nerney next week, so I can ask her, because she's her supervisor, more detailed questions about that.
Can you just loop the board in after those
Absolutely, yeah.
discussions?
Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Moving right along.
Under our joint meeting too.
Yeah, that's 31st?
30th.
30th.
Wednesday.
Wednesday, right?
Here.
Here.
Okay, upcoming meetings, May 8th is our next town board meeting at 6 PM. May 12th is PBDA at 7, and May 22nd is town board meeting at 6. And we have town village meeting April 30th at 6 PM here. And it will be televised. Public comment time. If anybody has anything they want to share with us, step up to the lectern, please.
Good evening. I just want to read a statement. On February 5th, with Resolution 46-25, the town board approved a $17,990 contract with G&G Municipal Consulting and Grant Writing to conduct an income survey within the town. This contract is dated December 10th, 2024. The town had the contract for almost 2 months before it was passed. The contract states at the 6th bullet point under our commitment that G&G will conduct and coordinate the survey mailing, including a cover letter approved by the village. The 3rd bullet point listed under the municipality agreement states the municipality agrees to review and revise as appropriate the draft cover letter created by G&G. The letter that went out to residents states in the last paragraph, if you should have any questions or need additional copies of this survey, please contact Candace McHugh, Town Clerk, at 585-756-6006, extension 3, or G&G Municipal Consulting at 585-368-8866. The letter is signed with the names of the entire town board. Furthermore, the contract in which the board approved states the municipality agrees to promote and advertise that G&G is performing the survey and urge all residents receiving the survey to accurately complete and return it. The contract also states the survey will be noted at municipal meetings, posted in municipal offices, local print, social media, and other methods as appropriate. The survey has been mentioned at town board meetings, and it has been posted on the town website, but not until April 11th. And it was posted on the town Facebook page, but not until April 23rd. I have also not seen the press release that G&G was supposed to provide per the contract or made aware the need to post in local prints. I have serious doubts that anyone on this board actually read the contract they approved. I was also never made aware that I was the informational contact for the survey and would have copies to supply to the community. The Queens-Town Board has directly tied my name without my knowledge to a project that has been poorly implemented. The town clerk is typically the go-to person for the community, and I enjoy that aspect of my job, and I understand the responsibility that comes with it. I do not appreciate the unprofessional manner in which this project has been handled. In the future, I expect to be included in the preparation of any town documents that will include my name in the capacity of my elected position as town clerk, and suggest the town board as a whole expect the same when their names are tied to a document or contract affiliated with their elected positions. The integrity of these documents are the responsibility of the entire town board. Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is William Stewart. You guys spoke a little bit about the building and about the different stuff that had to be done. Now, the bidding process, about how long does that usually take for the construction?
if I'm remembering, I don't have the file in front of me, but I think the bidding process Jim put on about, I think 2 or 3 weeks typically. It may even be up to 4. Yeah.
And they'll try, you guys are gonna try to, or the board's gonna try to put that out within a couple of weeks to try to start the bidding process?
Yeah, well, I have to have a conversation with him tomorrow to see where we're at, so he knows, where the offices are going. That's kind of why I wanted to nail that down, but he'll be fine with on the 30th of April. I think to get that information, because he just needs to he needs to talk to somebody about how the design is gonna go and where the outlets are gonna go, just all the details.
And are they still looking at possibly like what, about 2 months to do the work? Approximately, they're thinking?
Yeah, he has a pretty extensive list of what he has to do, but he nailed down somewhere around October, beginning of October.
Is that's when you guys
For
are,
completion
that's when
date.
the board is looking at possibly getting it completed?
Yeah,
Yeah.
according to Jim's estimates.
Depending on if the bids can actually do it in a,
Right, and that's the process where we're at right now.
I just wanna mention about the parks, the board mentioned about the parks. The parks look really good. I was at Gerolman this week. I was down at the landing. The parks look really good, so any other improvements will really like make it look really good.
Yeah.
Looking really good.
Two quick questions. Why is the for sale sign still by the building?
Yeah, I contacted that company and told them they could take their sign anytime they want. That was a few weeks ago.
I got that survey letter, and the one thing in it that I just said I'm not answering it. They wanted to know my salary, and they said something about a code. So to me, it was like they have a code to know who's making this survey.
Yeah, I contacted them about G&G about that too, and wrote a letter of explanation because I think it's kind of difficult to understand through the letter that they sent out. And they said, yeah, they typically have issues like this, and there's going to be they said that they were going to reach out for the second phase, which is a physical visit to the homes that received a letter. So I'll have to give them a call and see where we are with that and where the breakdown came through with typos and things like that.
Because I've spoken to a few people, and everybody said, I'm throwing it away, I'm not gonna answer it.
Yeah, understood.
I mean, and the point of it was they were looking for mostly the town demographics for it, partly because of an income geographic, because
Yeah,
if
I
the town reaches a
understand that.
certain thing,
Right.
you get more grant money and all that
Yeah.
too, so,
But as soon as you put something in there, a code, that to me.
Yeah, no, I
you're
understand.
gonna know
No,
who
it's,
sent it.
I understand your concern with that.
Yeah.
So, but that does help, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm hoping to take it at face value that, they're not gonna be able to tie anything to, but I don't necessarily agree with it either, so.
Yeah, when I called them about that specific issue, they said we will not. I asked them to change the language. We will not and cannot share information with the town. The code is there. It's just a number, not your name, not your address. I think the way that they had it written, but I asked them if they could clarify that.
Yeah.
My interpreter that was the code was tied to the address that it was sent to, but they wouldn't share that information with the town, so the code is attached to your address, so that's how I interpreted it.
Yeah.
When I read the letter, because that's how they would know if the response came,
Right.
who they sent it to.
Right.
So there is a code that's attached to your address, from my interpretation of it, and
But the most important part of filling out that letter is including your income. I know it's like a tough subject and people don't like to do that, but I guess they're trying to make it as anonymous as possible and trying to give you as comforting, information as possible and verbiage to try to make you feel comfortable in sending something with not your name, but your income on it. And I know that's an odd thing to do. We don't do that all the time, but that's the whole purpose of this, is to, take a broad demographic of the town and say, what are the incomes of the people in the hopes that we fit a certain income criteria that we qualify for certain things that could better the town.
Yeah.
So,
But what tells you that the person's gonna tell you the honest truth as far as
Yeah,
income?
you could write $1 million down there, Barb, but nobody,
Right.
nobody would
don't though.
question you.
Don't.
No,
Don't.
no.
Don't write $1 million.
I know it. I know it.
We'll get nothing.
But to me, the letter just, it just rang a bell and I said,
This is part of the problem.
sorry.
That's okay, Mark.
Go ahead.
I just have a couple of concerns. I hear about the kids down at the park all the time. Everybody knows it's the same 6, 7 kids in that group that's down there doing this. And my other concern is, why is, when there's cuts in the budgets and that, it's always the police department? How many cars do we have on the road per shift?
Our police department budget was increased almost $300,000 last year.
Yeah, we increased it 34%.
I can't hear you.
Our
We
police department
increased the
budget was
budget.
increased almost $300,000 last year.
Yeah, we're building the police department.
Because we used to have cars on the road constantly.
Yeah.
I don't see cars as much as I used to. And we just had another officer resign. Do we have enough staff there?
Yeah, so I can answer a lot of your questions. So, the budget did increase significantly. We increased the patrol vehicle fleet, which was dwindled down to a few. And now we have a good fleet. We've added 4 new people in the last 3 months or so, including a detective. We currently have a full-time officer in the Zone 5 Academy who should graduate in July, God willing. That will add to our complement of people to provide 24-hour-day coverage. And we're striving to have 2 cars on the road per shift. That's our goal. We don't always make it, but we do try and provide that
That would be
coverage.
great, because this time and era in the world, it's not the greatest to only have 1 car on per shift. You know, it's not just for the officer's safety, it's for the public's safety.
We work closely with the sheriff's office.
You know, I hear that.
I know, I'm just saying that we work closely with the sheriff's office.
But I see the sheriffs go up and down and all around, but I never see them stop anybody. My problem is spring is here, it's nice, I've had windows open, which I hesitated. Summer's coming, because the vehicles, I would say 50% of them that come up and down in the hamlet have inadequate exhaust or no exhaust. So they rattle your windows when your windows are closed. And this time of year, you can't hear yourself think when they go by. You can't enjoy your dinner, you're watching TV, you miss part of it because of the noise. You know, it's just, so my concern was, does he have enough help to try to put a clamp on some of this noise and these inadequate vehicles that are running up and down the roads?
So I think we spoke last time, right? You and I
Quite a
had
while ago.
conversation. Was it quite a while? Flying by. But, you know, just to reiterate to the board's report every month when we come in, you know, we're writing a lot of tickets. We're writing more tickets than have been written in quite some time around here.
But are they getting them for no mufflers or
We're getting them for
inadequate mufflers,
everything.
the noise?
For everything.
Huh?
Everything, yes. Mufflers, lights, failing to stop at stop signs, unsafe turns, DWI. We're doing a lot of different things. So, I mean, I understand your concern. There are always gonna be trouble spots. You know, it only takes
West
1 or
Plum
2
Street is one of
people.
them, down
who
to the
are-
river and up and down
Yeah.
with the raceway. And I understand the speed limit there, it's helping. Not everybody goes by it, but it's helping. But the noise is getting just as bad, if not worse. That was my concern. And I wanted to make sure you had the adequate help that you needed.
Yeah.
Because our public safety is important. You know, the residents have to feel safe. If you don't feel safe because you don't have enough calls out there, or if you call and they're out at the other end of town, how long is it gonna take them to get down there?
And I think that was when, you know, when we passed the upgrade for the police budget, I think that was one of the things we were really focused on, is they had a lot of trouble retaining people. So we increase their budget to try to increase salaries to draw people, like the people in the Zone 5 Academy, draw them to the town so that we could hire more people, fill more shifts, have more cars on the road. And I think it sounds like it's slowly but surely working. And, you know, again, I think if we keep on the right path, we can get the 2 cars on the road and have every shift full. And in accordance with working with the Albany County Sheriffs, hopefully we can make a turn for the better.
That's a sore spot for me, the sheriffs, because I see 2 cars back to back, constant up and down, and I never see them stop anybody, and I'm not bad mouthing them. I would just like to see them participate a little bit more in what's going on. I mean, they're right around the corner.
So I would just say to that, they're dispatched along with us to every call. We normally beat, just because of geographical coverage, we normally get there first. They come as a backup. We welcome their assistance.
Right.
We also work with the state police. They've been down here. You may have noticed a little more
Like I said, I'm
recently.
not bad mouthing them. I'm just saying, if they get to the call first, I'd like to see them do something, not wait for Queens to show up because it's Queens district, you know?
You and I are joined forces.
Huh?
You
I'll
and I are
enforce it
joint
all right with a
forces.
baseball bat, the way they've been running up down that road and the mufflers and the exhaust and everything else. But on a good note, I want to thank the chief for the job he is doing.
Yes.
And the other good note is I want to thank Keith and Danny. I think they're doing excellent jobs for the town. But, you know, that was my main concern is what's going on down in the hamlet right now with everything. And I know it's just not the hamlet. It's just because I live there that I hear it so much and pay attention to it. And there's kids, schools getting out. You're going to have a lot of kids roaming around.
I did get an email from the Hamlet last week about engine noise, and his take was that it was Jake brakes, and if we could put a no engine brake sign, like the one that they have by the Rip Van Winkle Bridge. Is that your experience, that it's truck Jake brakes, or do you think it's people without mufflers?
I have hearing aids in too, and I'm having a hard time hearing.
I think a lot of the young kids have these loud mufflers.
They have
dual
them out.
mufflers or something.
They, what do they call it? They clean them out or take something out so they're really loud. And some of them don't even have them. They're left laying on the road somewhere. And others just rip it up on purpose.
Yep.
And burn the rubber, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is a problem. I know it's hard to deal with for a small department. But I just would like to see a little bit more hammer slamming on them. Put
Okay,
it nicely.
we will. How's that?
Thank you. I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay.
Ma'am, can I just have your name? I did. I don't know that I know you.
That's funny.
Thank you.
If you guys are ever in the area, get down there. Donna and Jimmy are down there every day. Jimmy retired from the highway department.
Okay.
He was there, how long was he there, 25 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're always a wealth of knowledge if you're ever down that way. Supervisor, did I hear you say that meeting with the village is gonna be televised?
Yeah, I think we decided, right, that we
Awesome.
Mr. Horton, he can make it, so.
Awesome, because I asked the village and they don't televise them over there,
No, they don't.
which they should. The other thing, is there an agenda out for that meeting when you guys do them?
Yeah, we do put those out.
And not right now, we don't have it, but before the meeting, we should.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see one.
The villages, their meetings are televised.
Not the joint meetings
Oh,
are.
not the joint. And
No.
when is that, the 30th?
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Televised the last few, and we put an agenda out before.
The last one wasn't.
Not televised over there.
Oh, right, yeah. No, I think we do that.
I don't think it was televised here at the last one either that we held here.
How you been?
It's recorded.
But we televise.
Yeah.
It's recorded on
It's recorded.
his phone and recorded
If somebody did, yeah.
Any further public comment?
They used to.
Have
They
my
used to.
phones.
Right.
Hearing
Go
none,
back.
I make a motion to.
Before you do that, if we go back to the survey.
Oh,
because
sure, yeah.
I only saw the letter after Candace sent it, and
Uh,
I just wanna know who put her name down as a contact. And also, I've been hearing only from a few people that received them, and if they're not gonna fill them out, then there's no use for us
It's a
doing
waste of money.
the survey. And I was one of the people that wanted the survey done so we could get more grant money, because we do need to know the income of our population. But they're targeting, it appears to be older people too.
I just got mine in the mail today.
I also,
didn't-
Yeah.
And so the only thing, I guess, I guess I'd wanna know is, why didn't they give us that information first? We could go through it with them and say, oh no, this isn't gonna work, you need to reword this, or explain this so these people will wanna fill it out. And I have a problem with that, and I have a problem that Candace was put down without anybody asking her or giving her information.
I didn't see the letter.
I think that was just poor on their part. And also they put down a 585 area code. And it doesn't make sense. Aren't we paying for
Can't
this?
understand a word she's
I think we need to talk to them and just say, you know, we can't pay you if this isn't done effectively because it's gonna be null and void to get information back for us to be able to use it for grants. You have to get specific information back or we're not gonna be able to apply for some of these.
Is that another, so instead of a phone call, an email and loop everyone in?
Yes, they need to explain what they.
No, we can't hear a word she's saying, so.
I'm sorry, I really apologize.
I understand.
Okay, thank you, Barb.
Just saying the need to talk to G&G about the income survey
Okay.
and make sure that everybody understands how that letter had,
And why Candace was put down.
right.
Did G&G create that letter, or was that a template that was forwarded to the supervisor's office?
Yeah, and actually I changed it, and if you look on the website, I removed Candace's name and the number was wrong, so I put 518 contact the supervisor's office because they didn't reach out to you directly.
No, and you did that on April 11th and the letter had already gone out. So, but the contract states that you should have been able to revise the letter. So that is a problem.
So did we, as the town, mail that letter, or was that mailed from G&G?
Yeah, we got the letter, it was reviewed, obviously mistakes were still in it.
Yeah, the return address was the town of Clements.
But the board wasn't provided a copy of the
No.
draft letter.
We didn't get it. I didn't get one, I mean.
Okay.
I mean, I know you depended on them, Steve, to do this correctly.
Yeah,
I'm just
well, you know.
questioning their expertise and professionalism in doing it, that's all.
Hours of credit, you know, state trooper.
Hopefully we can satisfy this.
800 hours or credit?
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye. Emily made the motion, Mike seconded it.
Take a look at this, when you
Yeah.
guys get a chance.
Yeah.
Illumination.
And the deadline is May, or
The
the
walk is the fourth.
walk is the 4th.
Yeah, the walk is the fourth. But if you could walk, that would be great, if anybody could show.
Oh.
Sunday, or next Sunday.
Absolutely, you can have it.
My great grand.